postafazoon. She's around, she's a firm, she's a fully packed. She's around like my head. She's flat like your head.
God, it's good to see you.
We were going to change the world, Marty. Remember? Did you ever get around to actually doing it? No, I guess not. Well, I think I can.
Really?
Yes. What's wrong with this country, Marty? Money. You taught me that. Evil defense contractors had it, noble causes did not. Politicians are bought and sold like so much chattel. Our problems multiply. Pollution, crime, drugs, poverty, disease, hunger, despair. We throw gobs of money at them. Problems always get worse. Why is that? Because money's most powerful ability is to allow bad people to continue doing bad things at the expense of those who don't have it.
I agree. Now, who did you say you were working for?
Oh, that's just my day job. Listen, when I was in prison, I learned that everything in this world, including money, operates not on reality, but the perception of reality.
Posit. People think a bank might be financially shaky.
Consequence. People start to withdraw their money.
Result, pretty soon it is financially shaky.
Conclusion. You can make banks fail.
Psst. I've already done that. Maybe you've read about a few. Think bigger.
Stock market?
Yes.
Currency market?
Yes.
Commodities market?
Yes.
Small countries?
I might even be able to crash the whole damn system. Destroy all records of ownership. Think of it, Marty. No more rich people, no more poor people. Everybody's the same. Isn't that what we said we always wanted?
Guys, you haven't gone crazy, have you?
Who else is going to change the world, Marty? Greenpeace?
No hate, no hype, no fear. We are TFR. Frequency Radio.
Broadcasting straight. Hey, this flat Earth isn't big enough for the both of us, but go ahead.
Nice. You're going to mess with you? All right, fine. Broadcasting straight to you from a large spaceship currently hovering over the House of the Temple in Washington, D.C., awaiting kill orders. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Strange World, where the truth is often stranger than fiction. I'm your host, Mark Sargent, the creator of Flat Earth Clues, which proposed that all of us are living inside a Truman Show enclosed structure thousands of miles wide. Check it out at enclosedworld.com or just Google Flat Earth Clues. If you can't find it, your computer isn't on. My good friend and personal wingman for the show is Jonathan from Jersey. What's going on, man?
What's going on? I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
The Earth just feels a little more claustrophobic these days when you put it under a cake dish cover or whatever that is.
Oh, you figured out it was a cake dish cover too?
Is that what it is?
It is.
Oh, I just said that right now. Huh.
Yeah, you're the second person, and the first person told me only maybe 45 minutes ago, and that was Orphan Red.
Oh.
She goes, I can't believe you used a cake dish. a cake cover for it because you can barely see the top part, but that's what he chose. And what we're talking about there, a couple quick shout outs. The first one, obviously, is to Chris Pontius. Great name, Pontius. Uh, very Roman, isn't it? He had sent me a working 3D model of the flat Earth with the dome on it. It's really, really great with a little motor. You can plug it into the wall, and so I plugged it into the wall. And not only am I giving him a shout out, I actually made his own, my own little video of it. It's only about 30 seconds long, and it shows it with the lights on and the lights off, and it's really, really cool. It's not a 3D animation; it's actually a working model, and it's cool. Now,
this is made by our buddy.
Uh,
Or is this somebody new who made
this
it?
is somebody new.
Oh, okay.
This is somebody new. As a matter of fact, I should probably read his email real quick because, hang on, let me read this.
He should make these for on Etsy or just direct. I mean, I don't know if I would buy one. Maybe.
Well, I didn't even know if he was selling them, so I put his email address out there and his name. But what he said was, heard about the flat Earth about a year ago, thought it was the craziest thing I'd heard. Then I saw Under the Dome a few months ago. I'm now a true flat earther, if there is such a term, thanks to you. Great job, by the way, on the vid. I also enjoyed listening to Patricia and Sasha as well. Kind of feels like we're family. Oh, isn't that true? Flat Earth friendship. I've noticed the extreme reactions various people have when they bring up subjects. Some people I thought would be open come up with some pretty wild logic about it all, and you cannot get anywhere. I've learned to move on. Anyway, I love to build things, and I was searching for a 3D model of the conception. Nothing anywhere, which is true. So I found some nice 12-inch acrylic cake domes, some tiny motors and LEDs, and put it all together. It's too cool seeing it in a lighted working model. And I wanted to contribute to this whole thing somehow. And so, yeah, he sent me the first one.
And you know what? I take back what I said because now I'm seeing it to scale. Like before, I just focused on it when you sent it, and I thought this thing was huge. And so I was just like, "Who the frig's gonna put that?" I thought it was like I thought the base was more like a barbecue grill, like the old kind you put the briskets in.
No.
Right. But this thing, now that this thing's only like 12 inches, this would be really cool for the desktop.
Yeah. It's only 12 inches wide and it's lit up. And so, yeah, check it out. It's a video I just put out there. It's called the Flat Earth 3D Model by Chris Pontius. And again, it's really, really cool. I don't know if he's selling them. I don't know if he's selling them if you get them in time for Christmas. But it's a cool little thing. And again, it's not a computer animation. So
I got the first comment on the video, by the way.
Jonathan cries first. Oh, yeah, I've never seen that before. The other thing is somebody sent me, and I do not have a video of this, TND from Bellingham, Massachusetts, sent me a 2016 Antarctica calendar with no letter inside it. All they sent me was a very nice Antarctica calendar. As you can imagine, the 12 months of the year are represented by big chunks of ice. And one sunset on a very flat horizon or sunrise. I can't tell which one it is, but it's really cool. So thank you, TND, and whoever you are. And yeah, very, very cool.
Now, right off the bat, I was going to hook in the phones. Did you want to give out the number?
Yeah, let's do that. And I've got a bunch of emails to go through. The emails just keep getting more and more, and this topic just gets bigger and bigger. Toll-free number to call in Truth Frequency Radio is 866-37-TRUTH or 866-378-7884. Operators are standing by, and by that I mean some joker from Jersey. So there you are. By the way, how are you, man?
I'm good, man.
I didn't actually ask what was going on. There was so much going on here that, and I got another package I can't even talk about yet because it's a Christmas thing. So I gotta hold off on that one. But let's get right to some emails that have come in, so I can burn through some of these. Most of them are pretty short. Anisha writes, "Hey Mark, I just want to say thank you for all the great content you continue to put out about Flat Earth, both on YouTube and Truth Frequency Radio. Thanks to your videos, I was immediately hooked. Me right now. I think we got lost for a second there. If anyone can hear me, if we're on air, message me on Skype or send me a quick email so that I'm not just wasting my breath. Anybody? Anybody? Well, we're just going to keep trying this. I am on. Okay, perfect. Well, if Jonathan buzzes me, I don't know what happened to Jonathan. He just got dropped off. So hopefully I'll just edit this in post. Anyway, let's get back to the emails, shall we? Don't know what happened, but we're just going to keep rolling on. The show must go on. And hopefully Jonathan will send me a quick message. Hopefully he wasn't drone striked. We didn't have one scheduled for this evening. So usually, Tuesdays is a pretty slow night in the Spec Ops room. But that's okay. We'll deal with this. Anyway, this is this email coming in from Eugene, and he says, you should really listen to the Stanton Friedman Jay Widener moon landing debate from the Art Bell's August 4th, 2015 show the night before Morgile's debate. There are many points that Stanton will surely try to use against you in this show, and I think it'd be a great heads up. If you need help finding audio, I can send you some not-so-legal links, but I'm sure you can find it. So thank you, Eugene, and absolutely I'm going to look. I'm going to spend some time listening to Stanton's interviews and see what I can dig up. So, and while I'm looking for the new email, I just want to make sure Jonathan is not completely gone. 1 minute here. Sorry for the delay, everyone. I don't seem to see him on my list. Hopefully nothing happened to him. Let's try to buzz him right now, shall we? Add to group call, Jonathan. We are calling Jonathan as we speak. And if I can't get him in these first couple seconds, maybe his machine crashed. That's probably what happened. No worries. We'll just keep going through emails. This one's from Ed. Hey, Mark, I was watching the TV the other day and noticed the Christian Dior advertisement referenced the Dome of Heaven. Check it out. It says in it, it's no place to live, but the only way out is up, and it's not heaven. And then he gives the link, and then went to their website and found what seems to be a bit of flat earth reference again, not the firmament. Enjoy, Ed from Edinburgh. And yeah, the Christian Dior advertisement with Charlize Theron as sort of a pseudo angel trapped underneath this dome-like structure, and then she comes on board. She climbs up the this kind of silk thing. When she gets to the top, she's obviously standing on top of a dome structure, and she talks about this new world and this beautiful futuristic city that's all lit up and blinding, like when she gets out. So it's really, really cool. So yeah, if you get a chance, check it out. The Christian Dior ad. I think a couple people have made some flat earth references to it. So thank you, Ed. That's fantastic. Ben writes, what does Ben write? In fact, I better get the phone lines going, shouldn't I? If I'm going to do this. 1 second. No, we'll get phones probably after the first break. Let's just read emails for now. That way I won't be too distracted. This one comes in from Ben Hartzell. He goes, hey guys, not so much to say, but I'll save it for another time. Instead, give you an attaboy. I've turned on 6 people in 5 days to the idea of flat earth, including my 2 closest friends and my mom. My mom! Exclamation point. She said her brain is smoking, but we're having a great time discussing these ideas. My mom and I even started planning a trip together to bring a laser and telescope to film some experiments and test these ideas for ourselves. My wife is a PhD psychologist, and my sister is an MD psychiatrist. And with help from my wife, I'm getting better at approaching people with these ideas without coming off as nuts. I haven't approached my sister yet with it, as she will be the real litmus test of my method. For my friends who don't have a science background, your Flat Earth Clues are the best videos for introducing them to these ideas after I've primed them. They draw you in, like a movie plot, in a way that's not alarming or off the rails. My second short thing, I have a deep understanding of the histories of both science and Western esoteric tradition, so I'm going to start a flat history YouTube channel profiling people surrounding the flat earth ideas and conspiracy. Instead of getting called out as a shill after the fact, I was just going to use the on-screen name Shill Bill and begin my first video with a bunch of Masonic hand gestures to get it out of the way, so to speak. Keep it up, guys. Ben. So thank you, Ben. And I think Jonathan is now trying to get a hold of me. Let me track him down real quick. If I can find him in my recents. John says he's here with a frowny face. Okay, John, if you can hear me, I am going to kill this thing, and you're going to pick me up, okay? So, or maybe I'll just add him. Heck with it. Let me add Jonathan. 1 second. Adding Jonathan as we speak.
Hey, man, can you hear me?
Barely. What the heck's happening over there?
I don't know. 1 minute I'm sitting on the deck here looking at the beautiful Atlantic Ocean. Next thing I know, there's no more lifeboats.
Is that a Titanic reference?
Everything was going good, and then everything went dead.
What are you talking on right now? Your cell phone?
Yeah. Why, is it really low?
No, it's not low, but I'm getting some chatter.
Chatter.
Well, it's not so bad, but it's not great. Are you outside or inside?
I am inside.
That sounds a lot better.
This is better?
Yeah, that's better.
All right.
So what was it before?
I don't know. Like my internet got knocked out. Now it's got an orange light on the router. So.
All right. So we got to check it after break and maybe have you try to do it again, or you want me to just control it from here at this point?
You better take control of the helm here.
All right. Cool. I may have to run the phone lines, folks. This is going to be fun.
I was just thinking of something. I just stumbled upon another truth.
What?
What if that whole thing with the Titanic, man, that was just to deter people from going towards Antarctica? Like they had a whole couple decades now to scare us about icebergs too.
Really?
I don't know. Just a thought.
Well, I do think there was some navigation issues with the Titanic.
Yeah, no doubt.
And once I get my time machine working, that is one of the places I want to go, just to check.
You read the anomaly about that, right? There's an anomaly about a book that was written several years before it called The Titan.
No.
And the story was almost identical to the Titanic. The same, the ship and everything hit an iceberg. It's almost like an exact story.
No, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, look it up, man. You'd be like, what?
Maybe
it's one of those Mandela effects. I don't know.
Oh, the Mandela effect?
Yeah, maybe that's what it's related to. But I swear, if you look it up, well, The Titan was an actual book written in 1890 something or 1909, and then the freaking Titanic happened, and it's almost identical, like the story.
Wow. Wow, that's really interesting. Huh? Well, there you go. All right. I'll try the phones after the break, but instead, while we're waiting, and somebody messaged me and says, "Why don't you sing a song while you're waiting for Jonathan?" And I don't know what I'd sing. Honestly, I'm working on a little Christmas tune for the Flat Earth Christmas card, which people are starting to put together already. And by the way, if you, for those people out there in Flat Earth world, make Christmas cards, because remember, it's video Christmas cards would be kind of fun. Something really short to just say wish everybody a happy holidays. It doesn't have to be religious based or anything like that, because as you know, we're compiling songs. I actually may sing for the for the Christmas card that I'm doing. I know, right? Pretty scary. Maybe. You have no comment?
I'm still here. I'm still here. My mom always taught me, like, when you have nothing nice to say.
Well, nice. Because my rapping was so horrible. What? My singing voice isn't that bad. Oh God.
You're nice.
Remember the Love Boat? Love, exciting and new. See? I can sing. Okay, here we go. This email in from Wendy. Wendy says, hey, I recently discovered that someone who I grew up with in my neighborhood in York, Pennsylvania, went on to study physics and now works at NASA. Well, I don't think that he is in the higher up decision-making ranks. I can get this info in the door at one of the NASA facilities in the Maryland, Washington, D.C. area. It's a first step. Just thought I'd let you know, looking into getting contact information for him now. My folks and his folks are still friends. Awesome, right? God bless, Wendy. Thank you, Wendy. That's really, really great. Her video was titled, Your Videos Are Going to NASA. That's just what I need. I need my videos going to NASA.
I think it's funny how people have friends, you have to say that in air quotes, that work at places like NASA or maybe the Fed Bank or something, and they just think that person, because you listen to a conspiracy show one night or something, they want to throw away their whole college education, their career, their savings plan, their families.
Yeah.
Because on a whim, because you say, oh yeah, I got a friend who works in the banking. He could tell us all about the Bilderbergs and the Rothschilds, just like that.
Yeah. Well, again, it's a start. Yeah. It's not like he's going to tell her. It's like, oh, right. Yeah. Did you know the earth is flat? Yeah. No.
That's like that saying to Sean, listen, I know your job probably requires some secret clearance, but if you could steal some of the stuff that's compartmentalized, and you shouldn't really get out, because we're friends now.
Yeah.
I don't think it works like that, but no, it's worth a try.
Probably not. This email from Keith says, hey, Mark and Jonathan. Keith James O'Brien from Ontario, Canada, town of Keswick. I reside right next to Cook Bay and Lake Simcoe. I have been a boater for 40 years and have never seen a curve. There is a man-made channel called the Kirkland Cut that links the Trent Severn Waterway to Lake Simcoe. He sends me a link. None are more hopelessly slave than those who falsely believe they are free. Keith. Thank you, Keith, and thank you for all the geographic references. Case, and if anyone didn't know where all these places were in Canada, Keith pointed it out for us. So that's awesome. That's really, really cool.
You guys, by the way, guys that are out at sea, just like Sean, like this guy.
Yeah.
They're out there. They have plenty of time on their hands, besides working, but they're looking at that constantly.
Yeah.
So your mind is going to be, not distracted. And if anybody's going to notice an anomaly, it's going to be them.
Yeah. Yeah.
With, with distances and,
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Let's see what we got here. This one's from Steve. And Steve says, here's my theory, story, concept. You can just use any of this and you like, repeat it on air, etc. Please don't mention my name. Ah, darn it. Well, just my online persona. Escodism. SESSCODSM. I am thinking of turning both of these concepts into a book. Let me know what you think. I didn't mention your last name, Steve, so you don't have to worry about it. There's lots of Steves out there. If you want more, or if I'm a lunatic, haha. We did go to the moon, but it's not what... These are concepts. We did go to the moon, but it's not what we think. Imagine that you can have complete control over your view, as in Minecraft. Looking down goes straight up. What would happen to your worldview? Eventually, you would get so high, your view may be a round circle surrounded by blackness. The roundness is just because our eyes are globes. To put it another way, imagine you're underwater on the seafloor. You are looking straight down inside a submarine that is going up. Would not the seafloor fade from view as you got further away from it? The same thing happens in space, but air is not as dense as water, so the effect is exponentially lesser than underwater and takes thousands of miles until it is visible. This explains the circular photo of Earth from space. Better yet, go in a dark room and point a flashlight at the wall from inches away, then back up. In a normal room, this effect is diminished. Eventually, the whole room is bathed in light, but next, do this test in an infinite plane in the pitch blackness. Weightlessness too. Wherever gravity is, its effects are weakened the higher up we go. Perhaps the flat Earth is like a magnet for matter, a carbon magnet. This is a little bit devil's advocate because it could still explain godless science, but it still agrees with a major cover-up in the lies of NASA. I know the main concept is a domed, closed structure, which I can get my head around, but whatever created this may have made it a much larger scale. And, so thank you.
Well, he's right about one thing, right? About gravity, about the density of something having a draw or a pull because of the gravity that it has. Right?
Wait, say that last part again.
Like if something's heavy, the heavier something is, the mass of an object, doesn't it create its own gravity well?
Yeah, well, that's what general physics says, yes. So unfortunately now we have to question that because if space doesn't exist and there are no spheres that exert their own gravity, does a really dense mass, unfortunately it's really tough to test here because what are you going to test it with? We don't have an object that we can just lay down and then other things are drawn to it. We don't have any super dense material. Now, if you had some really super dense material, you could probably pull it off. But where are you going to put it? You're gonna without it sinking into the ground. So does yeah. So anyway, there you have it. Michael writes. What does Michael write? He sent me a clip, and it was Sunday. Oh yeah, that's right. There was a clip, and I don't know if I sent this to you. And we can do this before the break. This is from Michael. He goes, Sunday nights, Neil deGrasse Tyson has a show called Star Talk. Yeah, shocker. Filmed inside the Hayden Planetarium, which he runs, at the American Museum of Natural History, where his email address is. The November 29th episode, season 2, episode 5 of Star Talk with guest Susan Sarandon has a great moment. And that's when he's talking to a couple of his physicist female friends. There's not that many out there. And they were younger than him, and he was kind of down. He was saying that why don't people appreciate the moon anymore? And the women were basically saying, well, because it's old. Nobody's gone to the moon in such a long time. So what they said, really, we should go to the moon. And I'll save this clip, and maybe I'll play it for you, but I don't know if I can include it on this one or not. Maybe I will. If I know where the break is, I will start the clip now and let you guys listen to it, and then I'll pick it up after. But she's basically saying, I want to see someone from our generation go to the moon, because without that, what do we have? We just have some old footage of somebody. She's basically a physicist, an astrophysicist, saying it's gotten so dated that it doesn't mean anything anymore, even to the real scientists.
Well, that totally makes sense too. When you consider everybody's watching all these people with GoPros doing these epic things, jumping off cliffs, and why wouldn't you do it now? I mean, you'd have everybody watching. Everybody be tuned in on their smartphones. They didn't have that back then.
Absolutely. Yeah. Nobody's gone to the moon since 1972, and you got to ask yourself why. I mean, just to keep it fresh.
What about the sponsors? I mean, Red Bull already put up money for the guy that jumped from space. You don't think they're going to be itching to see their name all over the place?
Yeah. Excellent point.
You'd have plenty of money put into it.
Yeah. Anyway, we're going to go to break, and then when we come back, we'll see if we can get the phones up and running.
Agent for Truth with Joe Bannister. Saturday on Truth Frequency Radio.
Welcome back to Strange World, where the truth is often stranger than fiction. And isn't that the case tonight? Because we had some weird technical difficulties, and judging by the amount of DoD traffic that we've had over the last, couple of months, even though we don't have a special guest on tonight, it seems that somebody's been taking a few shots at Jonathan over at the control room.
And Jonathan's ready to take a few shots back. You have no idea.
Well, let's see how it goes. Hopefully, Jonathan wasn't spiked the first time and got killed. But either way, I can always pick up the slack. At least you're not, drone striked or anything.
Funny you should say that.
Okay, the phone lines are up, right? We got the phone lines.
They are up.
Okay, the phone lines are up, which means 866-37-TRUTH or 866-378-7884. Call in to talk to Jonathan and I, and we'll, entertain you with some sort of musical dance number. Jake writes, you're going to like this one. I love emails that have a whole bunch of dots in between instead of periods. I just ate some shrooms. Watched your Flat Earth Clues a few days ago. Only ate 1 gram of some homegrown fungi. Watching it again. I don't usually fall prey to a lot of these so-called conspiracy theories, but this one almost sums up the whole reason why the other conspiracy theories are there in the first place. I probably shouldn't have said I was tripping at the beginning, but I am. Hey, at least he can type. It's like it's like leading a conversation with, "Hi, did you know the Earth is flat?" But it is what it is. This makes more sense than anything right now. On another note, I have a question. Do you think Richard Byrd actually died in his sleep, or they stopped him, especially after saying how important Antarctica is? Part 2 of that question, do you feel fearful for your life for knowing too much? I want to be a Superman to promote this idea, but we need enough people. There are times I felt the world spinning, but not soberly. Also, this theme seems like a trick by the tricksters to make me think the trick is just a trick. Wow. Well, the email kind of fell apart at the end there. But he was on hallucinogenics. So thank you, Jake. To answer your question, I do think that Richard Byrd probably died an unnatural death via a heart attack at his home, because I think that people want to interview him, and he was upfront enough about certain topics that they just didn't want to take the chance. There's one thing I have learned about the Authority: they do not take chances. So there you go. Hopefully you'll sober up soon, Jake.
So now, all right, let me say two things. First of all, you got a call. So we got a call to pick up.
Okay.
But second, do you think the powers that be are really scared, or whoever's controlling the game, of this topic at this time? I mean, because it's taken on a life of its own, true. And it's like you said, the stat numbers from YouTube, how much it's grown.
Yeah.
But I started seeing mainstream people too, like Tia Tequila and other people are picking it up now. It's buzzing around Hollywood.
Yeah. It's only a question of who's going to make the mistake, or either deliberately or inadvertently, a celebrity is going to make its thing. It's like, what is all this flat Earth BS about? And they'll have 10 million followers, and all of a sudden it'll explode. So yeah, that's where we are now, because that priest came out and said that from a Bible literalist point of view, that the resurrection, since it was going up, he considers up to be a very narrow path. It's not like you're going out from Australia. It doesn't say out, he says up, which means heaven can only be in one direction. And he came forward and said it, and it made a little bit of mainstream buzz. So yeah, that's where it's going. Do I think they're worried? Maybe. Or they, but if they're like me, and I seem to think a lot like they do, I think they've got a contingency plan, or plans. They probably got plan B and plan C.
But they can never come out and admit to it, right? You said
no, they can't.
So if you threw down the gauntlet and you said, okay, here's the deal. If you guys come out with the truth about the flat Earth,
yeah,
somebody, names withheld, are going to throw down such a revolution that it's going to require more than bullets to stop it.
Yeah.
Something along those lines. In fact, I won't go further than that. It's your show. I'll be polite. I don't want to make, because then people say, oh my God, he made a terroristic threat. No, I don't make terroristic threats. I make promises. And if you can't fulfill the promise, no, what I'm saying is if they can't come out and admit it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't say, if you do this, like,
yeah,
they're going to keep sticking to their position. I mean, even though it's ludicrous.
I know. They're going to release as many stories as they can, because the alternative is so painful to them. Better to go with the devil you know than the devil you don't know. A little play on words there, but it's true. They don't know. They know the pain. They know the inconvenience that they can deal with now. But if they come out and release this, you saw the clues. It could get ugly.
But don't they realize they'd have more people protecting them that would side with them and even forgive them if they came out,
yeah,
before that time comes?
Yeah, if they got in front of it, which is why I made the plea to Neil deGrasse Tyson. Look, if you get in front of this, you could become the most influential figure in world history.
Right.
Because you'll be even though it's not necessarily deserved, you'll be the focal point. Everyone will be looking to you for answers. Like Morgan Freeman as the president in Deep Impact. That's what he can do. He could get up and at the Oval Office as an official science advisor and just start talking, and people will listen to him. But
because what I'm envisioning, and this is what I really sincerely worry about, I've said it before, the chess pieces, the pawns, and even maybe some of the rooks and others are going to meet in the middle of the board, and they're going to turn around and go after the kings and queens and just literally go after them and kill them. I mean, they're going to be so, crazed with, oh my God, you've lied about something this big.
Yeah. Well, and the combo lie. It's a combo punch, because not only will they say you've lied about something this big, but they'll say, is everything else a lie? What is the truth?
That's what I mean. Yeah.
About anything. They'd have to re-examine every story the media has ever put out. So yeah, it can get. We'll talk about this more in a bit.
Okay. Let's get this call because.
Oh yeah. Let's take this call.
Yeah.
Ready?
Yeah, do it.
Where are you calling from? Caller.
Hello, this is Tracy from Colorado.
Tracy from Colorado.
Hello, gentlemen.
Hey.
Hey, I've only been listening to you guys for about 3 weeks, so it's quite a bit to wrap my mind around or, disassemble my mind and reapply it. But
Sure.
Very interesting subject. The first time I heard this, the first thing that came to my mind, I'm sure some other brilliant people have come up with it, but I haven't heard it on any of the subject yet, is that it's called a planet. So it's a planet,
Yeah.
not a spirit.
Not a
That's
globit.
all. Why would they call it a planet?
Good point.
Right,
Excellent.
not a globit.
Yep. Excellent point. Good observation.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. And that's all I wanted to say, and I'm listening.
Right on. That's what we like. Just get in, throw that nugget of information, and get out. That's fantastic.
Exactly.
Thank you very much for.
All right, guys, carry on.
All right. Stay warm.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.
Hey, she's right. I mean, a globe is a spherical or rounded object, and planet isn't.
Thank you, Tracy from Colorado. Peter writes, the 9,700 kilometer cable that will speed up New Zealand's internet. And I should probably send you this link real quick here. Which it's real short, but if anyone wants to look this up, it's an interesting story because yes, they're going to drop down 9,700 kilometers of cable that will increase the speed of New Zealand's internet. And the question is, why are they not doing this with satellites? Why are they hardwiring it? And so that, Peter says, WTF, no satellite for us? It's not true. So anyone wants to look that up, he's absolutely got a point. Why are, with all the satellite technology, why can't you bounce stuff? Why doesn't New Zealand launch a satellite? I would imagine that thousands of miles, what is that, 7,000 miles worth of cable? I would imagine that cost a little bit of money. So, yeah. Let's see. Rob writes, hey, Mark and Jonathan. Round of applause for Jonathan, everyone. Yeah?
What'd I do now?
No, he just wrote that in there, though.
All right.
Please don't say my name on air. Well, look, just because I say Rob doesn't... You didn't even put your last name. It's Rob. I won't say the last initial. I'm in London. I was catching up on Strange World when I heard you got a letter about Stefan... What?
So we know his name is Rob. We know he's in London. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
Why don't you just give out his email? No, don't.
Well, let me see. Do I have it? Yeah, I do. Oh, actually, I do have his last name. It doesn't really matter.
Anyway,
I heard you got a letter about Stefan Molyneux, and I probably butchered that French. I know he is the guy who had the debate with the Morgile, is a bit of a twat, but has a huge following. But I saw something about Stefan, and this didn't click until you read his name out for some reason. I'm not sure why. There was a program on a British TV station called Channel 5, original, right? No, really, we only have 5 TV channels to watch in the UK before digital television, no joke. I knew this, the whole BBC 1 through BBC 5. This program was on Channel 5 called Trapped in a Cult, brand new documentary telling frightening stories of people affected by cults. One mother reveals how her teenage son, after connecting with an online group, cut off all contact with his family. Let's see. Now, let me be clear. This is not some YouTube hit piece about Stefan on Main Street. It is a clear story of what's to occur in Channel 5. Would be under some serious legal fire. These things are not accurate. I'm not a lawyer, but this type of stuff is not allowed on television. You could probably paraphrase this on air if you like. I know it's a bit long to read, but even if you don't read it out on air, I hope you have read it yourself. I just wanted to give you a bit of info from sunny London. Love your show, Mark and Jonathan. I've been a flat earther for a few months and not going back. And they says, don't read this bit on air below. And I'm not going to read that. Anyway, so, Stefan, he's got a whole bunch of hits. You know which guy I'm talking about? He's got 200 and something thousand hits on this video where he's debating the flat earth and he's obviously going against it. And again, he's entitled to his opinion and I don't blame him. Anyone you can almost plot a graph to this. Anyone who's got a whole bunch of followers is going to, as they get more and more followers, they're going to be more and more resistant to jumping on this without taking a much harder look at it. And that is because they're afraid. They're afraid of what they might lose. They're afraid that they would have 10, 20,000, 40,000, 50,000, whatever followers just leave immediately. It's like, really? He's even considering flat earth. I have heard it all. I am leaving. One of those standard, well, I never. one of those things. And I don't blame him. So it's all right. Again, it's in his head. He actually did a show about it. So don't forget that. Even the bad publicity, or even the real critical publicity, is still good publicity, which is why I don't mind. Find your favorite celebrity, shoot them a tweet, shoot them something, and say, hey, you should make fun of the flat earth, because actually that's going to do better than not doing anything at all. There you go. Thank you, Rob from London, who no one's supposed to know who you are.
You got 2 callers.
Do we?
Yeah.
Who's from where?
First one's from Eureka Springs. Where's that? Arkansas?
No, Eureka, California, right?
I guess. I don't know.
Let's find out where Eureka is. Pull him in.
Hello.
Are you talking to me by any chance? I'm from Eureka, Arkansas.
Yeah, that's what I said.
I thought it was Eureka, California. Hey, what's going on out in Arkansas?
Well, I just want you to know that you blew my mind and blew my life apart last April. I heard your show. It was kind of suggested on the side of another YouTube. I thought, flat Earth, why does that seem so familiar to me?
Mm-hmm.
I remembered that when I found out I was adopted about 5 years ago, that my birth mother said, my poor Rushi baby's learning about the flat Earth. I thought, I thought that was crazy, of course. So it turned out that I was raised in Zion, Illinois, and that the family that adopted me was Wilbur Voliva, who was the current, in 1948, of course, president of the Flat Earth Society. So it turns out that my first 10 years of my life, I would have heard nonstop battling conversations that were just so yummy in the kitchen, but, like a little kid, they'd shoot you out of the room.
Yeah.
So that's why I just couldn't, okay, so now I'm obsessive, right? I'm looking up every little thing I can see and going, oh no, I've always known this. But it's the sort of thing you don't know what to do with it. So I'm back to the same place with you. Your good advice, don't tell anybody that you're looking into the flat Earth. I've only told a few of the children in our family, guess who we are, really? We're flat Earthers.
Yeah.
And I just want to tell you, you kind of set me on a whole new course. And I'm not a young girl. I'm almost 70, so it's kind of a wild time to be reinvestigating everything you ever knew. But I just want to thank you.
Wow, you're very, very welcome, and better late than never.
Oh, can I ask her one question before she goes?
Yeah. Jonathan wants to ask you a question. What?
Have you ever been to that Italian restaurant, Emilio's, over there, that Victorian home across town?
You've been here in Eureka, for goodness sake. Of course I have.
I'm Italian. Yeah, no, that place is supposed to be awesome.
Oh, it is. Well, you know what the problem is? If you're a really good cook, Emilio's can't compete with home-cooked food, but it's sure good. We have terrific restaurants in town. We have UFO conferences and ghost conferences. It's a wonderful place. It's like finding, people say, why did you move to Eureka? But mostly they say, Arkansas. But we have more culture in our little town here than most places have in big cities. So we found our way to heaven.
Maybe we should have a Flat Earth conference there instead of Vegas.
I think so. There'd be a huge, well, for one thing, we have some terrific conference locations, and a lot of us are into bed and breakfast, and hospitality is our thing, of course. So we have good advertisement. Yeah, you know what? You're right.
Well,
make it happen.
All right.
It'd be very homely. Well, thank you very much. I'd love to stay in chat, but unfortunately, we have another caller we got to grab. So thank you, though.
Thank you for everything. Bye.
All right. Have a good one.
All right.
All right.
I'm sorry, man. I'm it's food.
Apparently.
I'm a fat guy. I lose myself.
You're not that big. I've seen pictures of you. Anyway. And by the way, I love this. This whole movement. I love. My favorite part about this is the sheer amount, which you don't see in other conspiracies, which shows you how much it's resonating, and that is how many women, have written and called, and because women are more skeptical. Women's intuition.
Well, it's not just that, though. It's women are smarter than guys, and they're not going to get caught up with UFOs and other conspiracies. They're going to go to the real truth, which is the flat Earth.
Yeah.
Cut to the chase.
I get it. You conspiracy people out there, you've got to realize this is truth, and that is that if women are buying into this thing's got legs on it. It's not going away, and women will tell their friends. They'll sit down, at a dining room table over some wine and say, you know what? You ever heard about this flat Earth thing? Here, watch this for a second. Have another glass of wine. Anyway,
let me just say this though, on a parallel though, from a spiritual standpoint. I mean, women are considered of the earth, like Mother Earth, and nurturing and connected to the earth and grounded. So it makes sense that of all the things that they would be connected to, it would be this topic.
Yeah, agreed.
Wow.
So who's the other?
All right, we got somebody calling in from Nebraska. They were on hold. Thank you for waiting. Who is it?
Hello.
Hey, Nebraska.
Hey, it's Jacob Taylor.
What's going on, man?
It's a good word.
Well, I have a handful of things I'd like to talk about, but I know with time I'll probably just try to cover a couple.
You got two fingers. Go ahead.
Go.
Well, one is I know this has probably been covered, and I mean you guys have done a gazillion videos and stuff, so I know this has probably been covered, but I was thinking about this time I used to fight for, forest fires for the forestry. And I was realizing, with the smoke, going up and going up and going up for hours, at times, 2 hours, I mean, the earth would have traveled, pretty much the distance of the United States, if I'm doing my math right, I think.
At least a couple thousand miles, but yeah.
Right. So that smoke, I mean, basically with that and the whole, LA flight back and forth, the whole deal with the flight being the same time or whatever, everything resorts to, the atmosphere somehow moves with the earth. And, I'd like for anybody who's a, round earther or whatever you want to call them to explain how that works, how our atmosphere is moving with the earth.
Sure.
I mean, in every aspect, it points to that direction.
Agreed. So what's your other point?
Well, I know one of them is no better episode than this one to see if anybody has ever figured out your little strange world meaning, because I know I figured it out a long time ago.
There were a couple of people, but yeah, I had to pretty much tell them because let's put it this way. I didn't even know what my last name was an anagram for. So yeah, I know I put that out a long time ago. And I mean, I didn't even know until only a few years ago. And the reason why people miss it is because Sargent, is the way I spell my name, Sargent, is an anagram for strange. The reason why people miss it is because strange is one syllable and Sargent is two. And most people completely just bypass it. It's like, well, it's got to be a two-syllable word, right? But no, strange is just kind of a long, drawn-out one-syllable word. So, but very, 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 very few people have figured that out.
And then the last thing I got a few I could go on and on about, but
we don't have much time.
Got two more callers behind you, so.
Okay, I'll hurry. Okay, so the moon, and maybe I'm thinking about this wrong. I have no idea, but I know I've seen the sun and the moon up at the same time, even fairly close, to where the sun can't be casting any kind of a shadow. So my other thought was, if somehow the sun is just bouncing off of the moon and giving that shape, how does a crescent moon, get the shape of the crescent moon? Because if light is bending around in all directions, it wouldn't only bend over the top and bottom; it would have to bend over the sides as well.
You got an excellent point, and David Weiss is currently working on that. Another flat earther is really good at research. He came to me a little while ago and said that how is it possible that there are crescent moons really at all? Why is it just half moon or nothing? Because of what you were saying there, how the light disperses. So yeah, excellent question. We're going to have to build some 3D models to pull that off, but you got a definite point. So thank you very much for your questions. I hate to kiss and run, but we got other calls we got to take. So thank you, Nebraska. Okay,
cool. And we got another one in from Arkansas. Let's just get into it because I know.
All right, who you got from Arkansas? You were on with Mark and Jonathan.
Arkansas or Alaska?
All right, Alaska.
Oh, Alaska.
Sorry.
That's all right. Alaska.
It says North Pole, Alaska. I should have known that one. Duh.
Oh, North Pole, Alaska. So what's going on up in the Great White? Well, above the Great White North.
Oh, it's Michael, the one that was getting chased by a dog last week.
Oh, great. Hey, Michael, did you suffer badly from your wounds?
No, I actually, once I got off the line, I turned around and started barking at the dog to chase him back to his house. That's irrelevant. I wanted to bring up...
Go ahead.
All right, I wanted to bring up, since you guys bring up movie scenes a lot, I was wondering if you had looked into The Beautiful Mind, and there's a specific one in there when John Nash is losing it because he can't get his mathematics right, and they chuck his desk out the window and they say that was heavy. And I think we've covered the basis that gravity and heavy are synonymous, and then they start laughing. So I found it very symbolic that they were possibly making fun of him. I'm sorry, I forgot to finish that up. They said that was heavy, and then they said that Newton guy was sure onto something, and then they started cracking up. So
can I say something to that first? Can I answer that first? When that movie came out, I had no less than 5 people say to me, "Oh my God, you got to see this movie, A Beautiful Mind." I'm like, "Why?" They're like, "This guy reminds me of you." And I'm like, "Really?" So I go and see it. And I'm like, "So you think I'm a schizophrenic?" And they're like, "No, just the way he thinks and the way he broke codes and all that other stuff." But anyway,
interesting. Yeah. What else? What else you got?
I actually was going to try and expand on what he was doing in his Nobel Prize that he won. He kind of questioned economic theory for the past 150 years. At least that's how the movie goes. And the idea of scarcity doesn't work with flat Earth anymore. So I'm kind of trying to rally up a couple friends of mine that are also looking into the problems of the world at large. And one of them studies the psychology of it. The other one is more into science and trying to find a discovery that can change the world tangibly. And I'm hoping that I could be able to challenge my school like I was expressing this information to them because these teachers are looking into it. And yeah.
Excellent. That's great. Let me know how it goes. And don't be shy, by the way. You don't have to wait once a week to try to call in. Just email me or grab my phone number off the thing and call me. If something comes up in that regards, I'd love to see how you do with that.
Yes. Of course. Sorry. One more thing, and then I'll let you go.
Sure.
Have either of you heard of the book or the trilogy? The trilogy of the books that are coming out about the Rise of the New World Order by Jeff Hayes.
No, I have not. Mm-mm.
Oh wow, it's a good read about the Federal Reserve and how they control everybody. And it's not just that. Of course, it branches out to how this is actually expanded from. Oh gosh. It's too much. You'll have to.
No, that's okay. So Rise of the New World Order trilogy book series by what was the guy's name again?
Jeff Hayes. He's got 2 of them out right now.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, man. Well, hey, have a good rest of your evening up in Alaska. Okay.
I will. You too. Thanks.
All right. Talk to you soon. Before we get a break real quick, I want to get out the short one. This one's an email by GL. It says, "Great job. I've been watching your videos on YouTube with my wife for a while now. Just want to say, great job. I come from a Christian perspective, so thanks for allowing the discussion not to exclude the Bible. I always stuck with the Bible when it mentioned stuff like the stars falling to earth or the heavens rolling up like a scroll. Thanks for opening my understanding even better. Gee. So thank you very much. Do we have a caller that's got to wait through the break?
Yeah, they're going to have to wait. I'll tell them.
All right. They'll have to wait. But when we come back, we've got more emails, more phone calls, and the phone number to call in is 866-37-TRUTH. That's 866-378-7884. Truth Frequency Radio. Real people, real radio with Mark and Jonathan on Strange World. How's that? Not bad, huh?
That was perfect.
There we go.
Make it Truth Frequency Radio.
Welcome back to Strange World. I'm Mark. This is Jonathan. And I completely forgot the intro track we kind of changed. I was hoping people would really dig it, and I think they will. The song is called Goliath, which is a really cool song name, and the band is called Graveyard. And I know, really cool, right? And they're a conspiracy band on top of it. That track is completely conspiracy based, and I included the lyrics for those who weren't watching the screen when I opened this on YouTube.
And they got a double A side play there.
Yes,
the
they
DJ forgot
did.
to put the B side on there.
Yeah, the DJ, the control room DJ, forgot it was supposed to be Harry Nilsson for the comeback in the second hour, but we got Graveyard with Goliath, which is fine. I'm a big fan of Graveyard and Goliath. So
that's DJ Mercury Retrograde.
Right. DJ Flash. Otherwise known as Chris Geo. No. Oh, I'm sorry. Email him. Tell him what you think. Sorry. And just it's okay, Chris. I love you. I do. I really do. I have to say that because I'm on your network. So there you go.
Oh,
all
my
right.
God.
No, that's not true entirely.
There's much truth in jest.
Yeah. Put back Harry Nilsson when you get a chance. So I don't have to email you next week. Anyway, so we have a caller, and let's get him. Who you got?
Oh, that's a good question. We got, I think it's Wes.
Is it Wes from Flat Earth News? Let's find out.
Hi, you guys. How you doing? It is Wes, Flat Earth News Talk. I changed it. I added that talk at the end of it.
Oh, it's now Flat Earth News Talk. Outstanding, Wes.
Yeah, I got that. I actually got that from. I stole it from Jonathan because it's Perceptions Talk. Anyhow,
so what's on your mind?
I was just had to make a comment to Jonathan. You're not fat, dude. I've seen you on the webcam. All right, it's no way. You got 5 stages. You got chunky, chubby, fluffy, fat, and damn. By the way, you guys.
Go ahead.
What you guys got to. You guys are going to hate yourselves for this.
Uh-oh.
When you have somebody on hold. Yeah. And you pop in and you unmute them and then you mute them again, we can hear everything.
Well, I figured as much, actually.
No, I knew that.
I knew that. No.
I never muted you though. That was the thing.
Oh, you wear me out. Yeah, I heard that one. Anyhow, that's fine. My machine is a piece of crap.
You've got to get a better machine, man. You've got to.
Dude, I
got it.
Talk for hours, but like you were killing me the other day. You called me up and I was like, I was all excited to talk to your friend, and then like it was like an hour, and I'm looking at the clock, and Melissa's like, when are you going to be done? And I told her I'll be done by 6. We're going to do an hour and a half interview, and it was already like 5:45. Like I try to be generous with my time. Like I know Mark knows, right? It gets this thing takes up a lot of your time. The Flat Earth.
Yeah, it does. Anyway,
here's the thing that sucks.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it just sucks because the guy just kept rambling. I wanted him off the frickin' thing. But we got into a bunch of stuff, and everything was working great then. The minute I hit that go broadcast, everything went to hell. But anyhow, I was just calling to find out.
Can I just say one thing? Can I just say one thing? No, when things happen like that, people tend to get upset. Like even here, the computer turns off or anything like that. Sometimes that's spirit's way of protecting you from yourself. Like sometimes divine timing is at play. You know what I mean? They're telling you, just hold off. Don't have the interview yet. And then you wind up nailing it just right. It's time. So
I agree with you. Because after the incident between you and Mark both had problems, I had a buddy of mine who's going to be my wingman. His name's Ryan Alexander, and he's dying to talk to Mark. I sent out a couple invites to you guys when we did the show, so we went ahead and did the show. It went off without a hitch, went about an hour and 35 minutes, and then we started having problems, so I just ended the show. But other than that, yeah. Anyhow, I was going to ask you, Mark, would you be able to throw a little sneak peek on what's going to happen on November 30th? I mean, what type of questions you're going to ask them?
December 30th? No,
Yep.
I don't. Unfortunately, I can't give you any No, I'm not giving them any sort of advantage because, in fact, I'm not even going to give them their questions. I'll give them like the minimum amount of time with my questions. I do not because
Oh, I got you.
I can't
I didn't
I
even think
can't take
about.
the chance with them. I mean, I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt and think that they're not going to gang up in any way, shape, or form. But the saying is, trust everybody, but count your change. So that's what I'm going to do in this case. So
And I'm already coaching Mark. I'm going to say it again. He's going to come out like Brad Pitt in the opening of Troy.
there you go.
He's not going to hesitate when it comes to Stanton.
Go straight for the big guy and see if I can take out the carotid artery. Yeah. So anyway, Wes, unfortunately,
I'm just hoping that they're going to. I'm sorry to interrupt real quick. I'll get off. I just hope that Stanton actually watches and views your videos before he even comes on.
I hope so too. I hope he does not try to phone this one in. No
Well,
plan.
if he's listening now, you heard it. Do it, Stan.
Nice. Yeah.
All right.
Nice. Thanks, man.
Thanks for talking to me, guys.
All
Good
right,
hearing you, man. I'll give you a call. Bye-bye.
All right.
All right.
Before we pick up anything new, I got to read this one. So Robert writes, "Hey, man, watched your very good videos with interest. I have a small piece of evidence that I don't think anyone has touched on, although someone came close. I qualified via the Air Cadets at 17 to fly a powered glider solo in the UK back 15 years ago. I also flew several other aircraft and sat in many jet cockpits for takeoffs and landing back when I was permitted. 9/11 changed all that. All aircraft, small and large, with the exception of a few true gliders, have what's called an artificial horizon. It is, if you look at any photo of any cockpit, the round ball object, almost Earth-like, that shows that the aircraft is climbing, descending, turning, inverted, or indeed level flight. This works irrespective of any forces acting on the aircraft, such as G-force or turbulence, etc. This means that supposing you are in a loop, the G-force would be pushing you into your seat, even though you are actually upside down relative to the Earth. However, the artificial horizon is not fooled because it is directly interfacing with a very powerful and sensitive gyroscope. You know, the thing that you and I have talked about many times. Essentially, a piece of round disc-shaped metal. The gyroscope is usually activated way before the engines even start up on the aircraft when it's grounded and parked straight. This acts as reference for straight and level. Once the gyroscope is spun up into its motion, it doesn't matter what forces act on the aircraft itself. The gyroscope and therefore the artificial horizon always point out the aircraft's correct attitude. There's only one thing that could throw this off, and that's a round planet. If you took off and landed the same place, no big deal. But if you were to take off, say, Italy, and fly to Chicago, one would argue that you are now about a quarter of the way around the world in terms of a spherical map. The only problem here is that now the gyroscope, artificial horizon, should be showing the plane in some sort of dangerous 90-degree climb or bank or mixture of the two, depending on exactly how the aircraft's lateral position has changed relative to the angle of the surface of the Earth. Only it doesn't. It shows perfectly level flight as the aircraft touches down, supposedly at a 90-degree angle from the Earth. Now, people might argue, the computers take the position relative to takeoff and account for the deviation in the angle of the Earth. My response would simply be, did they also do that in World War II when there were no computers? Anyway, thought you might find this helpful. Or need a bit more explaining, just drop a line and I'll try to draw some basic imagery. No, I get it. And that is, absolutely a good point. It's like, everybody now would say, well, the computers are going to automatically compensate for any curvature of the Earth. And his point is, well, what happened way before computers? I mean, that would be like all the way going back into the late 70s? From the early points of flight, whenever the first gyroscopes were fired up to the late 70s. What did they use then? So
that's a good question. I don't know that.
I thought that was well put. So and a good description of the gyroscope. Yet another pilot who's coming out and talking about this.
Got another caller too.
Do we now?
Do you want to take it?
Let me look real quick. See if there's any other. Let me do this one real fast, and then we'll grab them. Gavin writes, "Hey there, nice job on the video, mate." I'm not going to try to do an accent. "I've just watched parts 1 through 12 and really enjoyed it. I'm going to share it on Facebook. Nothing more to say, but keep up the good work. Gav." Thanks, Gav.
Cool.
I like simple emails like that. I do.
That's it.
Yeah. So who's calling?
I don't know, but they're from California, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, let's find out. California.
Hey, Mark, Jonathan, how you guys doing?
Good.
Good.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
I'm driving right now, so I don't know if the sound's very good. Anyway,
That's all right.
like I
Ignore
said, I'm
all
driving-
crosswalks and stoplights. Just go fast.
I'm actually a truck driver driving through the flat Earth.
Oh, okay.
I had a quick question, and I'll take the answer off the air just to hear. I want to hear your take on it. Have you guys seen the video? It's like one of those high balloon videos. It actually says dog cam on the thing.
Yeah.
And it shows the sun, and then it shows a hot spot on the clouds.
Yep.
Have you seen that?
Oh, absolutely. I've seen it. The dog cam video, in fact, is part of a little montage that somebody sent to me that I send out to people because they compare the dog cam video side by side with the Red Bull video. And, with the Red Bull video using an extreme fisheye lens and the dog cam showing no curvature at all. And it shows that really cool hot spot over the clouds in the water. And it's really great. I send it out whenever I can and mention people to go see that video when they also get a chance. And the Flat Earth, there have been several Flat Earth videos that have been made on it. So it's excellent.
Yeah, that one, it's either very good CGI or that's proof right there, because there's no way in hell that a sun 93 million miles away can make a hot spot.
Yeah, I would agree with you, man. But excellent observation and good reminder for people that haven't seen it.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys.
Hey, have a good one.
Night.
All right.
All right. Bye.
That was California.
Cool. I was pointing something out to, I was talking to Sasha the other night. And looking at that, like when these the dog cam went to like 110,000 feet or whatever.
Yeah.
That's only about what, 20 miles?
20 miles.
22, yeah. That's like barely above the earth at all. I mean, that's like nothing.
Yeah, nothing compared to the size. Absolutely.
Yeah, so I mean, for all intents and purposes, it should still look flat, relatively flat.
It should
from that perspective. You wouldn't.
But
see
it's also a good point though, because to show people, because there's so many people out there, even though there's nobody who sent me a picture yet that says, "Oh no, I've seen the curve from an airplane," which is only like at 40,000 feet, which is why I throw them the dog cam photo almost immediately without any, without any text in the email. I said, "Really? Because what does this do for you?" Because if the dog cam shots and video, it's not just a still shot, it's a full blown video, shows no curvature at 110,000 feet, then what the heck are you seeing at 35,000 feet?
Yeah, exactly. You're
not seeing jack.
Yeah, I just wanted to point out, like you said, the horizon is definitely level throughout the whole thing, and it's not a fisheye lens, but you're not going to see an actual curve. You're not going to see anything at that altitude. I mean, because I drew a picture of the globe or whatever, the Earth for Sasha, and I put a line, and I moved it up a pixel. I'll show it to you after this program, and it was just like, yeah, I want to do a video actually. She's like, oh, you should explain that, because she was suggesting this too. She says instead of all the debunkers out there, she goes, why don't you debunk all the bad videos for those that might be the ones that are trying to make the flat Earth movement look bad. Kind of dispel those.
Sure.
So that's kind of a good challenge.
That is a good challenge. Excellent. I like it. Kalani writes, Mark Sargent, I just wanted to say you're doing an extremely good job. I had a feeling that the Earth was flat. I mean, the clues are everywhere. I asked around at school, but they just laughed at me. It died down till I watched your videos. It really opened my eyes. I'm not a guy that is gullible, but this really is whoa. I've got nothing else to say. I plan on doing my own research, and I still have so many questions. You answered most of them, but I still have more. Sent from my BlackBerry smartphone. I don't know anyone that actually still has a BlackBerry smartphone, but thank you for that. Wait, another call to me.
Did they say that it just dawned upon them that it was a flat Earth? Like they didn't just get that from the internet, or they've always felt that way?
No, I think they I think they probably picked up on some hints here and there.
Okay.
So,
do you want to give out the number again? Because it's been a while since you gave it out.
Oh yeah. Toll free to call in and talk to Mark and Jonathan live is 866-37-TRUTH or 866-378-7884. And please don't call while you're driving if you can.
There's a call immediately.
Really? Well, wait, before I pick it up, let me do this real short one. This one's from Frank. He goes, hey, I just thought of this. Would it be possible for some hacker to triangulate the IP address from which astronaut Scott Kelly sends his tweets from?
Ooh.
That's from Frank. Well, actually, it's from Nate using Frank's email. I don't know if it's actually Nate or Frank. Who knows? But thank you. If you're listening, that's an excellent one. Somebody should triangulate where Scott Kelly is sending his emails from. Thank you very much. So, who do we got on the line?
Oh, this one's like a mystery. I don't know.
Really?
G'day, guys. How are we?
What's going on?
Is this Mr. from...
This is Mr. Closer to the Edge.
There he is, closer to the edge.
Nice. What's on your mind in the down under? Or, I'm sorry, on the outer edge?
Steve. Steven.
Jesus, Mark, come on. You got to get that out of your head.
Thanks.
Well, no, in Mark's defense, though, he's an 80s guy like me, so he probably likes Men at Work.
I do. The 80s
Jonathan,
were really
did you
big. Sorry, go ahead.
Get my new link with that new song for you, Jonathan.
What's that?
That's all right. Don't worry about that bit. So I called up a couple of different things. Yeah, sorry.
That's all right. Go ahead.
How good's the 5-second delay? It's horrible. Anyway, I will continue talking now. So I had a good chat to David Weiss last week. We got into a discussion about the moon and the way that it always faces the surface of the Earth, and it's constantly in a moon phase going around. And we got into a chat about how that the moon could be quantum locked to the magnetic system around us. Now, I don't know if you've seen a demonstration from quantum locking, but essentially it's completely frozen, and in the magnet system you can dictate the way it moves around, but it always keeps the same face facing inwards. If you use like a hockey puck size element, I guess you could say, as an example, just spinning around the Earth, and it actually works, and it would explain why it's a cool light as well. I thought that was an interesting thing.
Very interesting.
So the second thing I wanted to mention was I was the one who commented yesterday on Patricia Steers' show about the pyramids.
Okay.
And I just wanted to quickly elaborate on that. And the interesting thing about the pyramids is that it suggests that there is all these ancient sites that connect into a perfect equator, and that perfect equator's poles are the magnetic north poles. Now, I wanted to ask you, Mark, if the flat Earth is as we have sort of seen in a map, and the very north is the North Pole, is the magnetic north still offset from that true North Pole, if that makes sense?
Yeah, I think it still is. In fact, because they keep saying that the magnetic north keeps moving, and I think that true magnetic north isn't. Some people said that like there's a magnetic mountain at the North Pole. It really depends which science organization you're going to believe on this one, because why would you make up the fact that the magnetic north is shifting? That it drifts several hundred miles in different directions and does this kind of weird sweep every once in a while. So I tend to believe that it actually magnetic north is moving. Why?
Okay. Yeah, I think it is. I think it's slightly offset, and I wonder if you could use the pyramid. The documentary in the period says that all these different things connect up, and it's connected to pi, and it's connected to the Fibonacci code, it's connected to the flower of life, and I wonder if there's some way that we could plot that. And I mention it to you because you've probably got better contacts of people who could probably plot that in some kind of way on AutoCAD or some 3D program.
Okay.
But definitely something worthwhile looking into because, there's so many connections, and if it works on a globe, well, then maybe that can determine where everything is positioned on the flat plane if the current maps we're seeing are incorrect.
Yeah, I like it. You might be onto something there.
Yeah, and the other thing I was just going to mention too, it explains why that the southern aurora seems to only happen in Australia. And that would sort of make sense to me that if it's slightly offset, as talking about the magnetic field, if it's slightly offset to one part of the outer edge, then we would only see it. I'm pretty sure you cannot see the southern aurora from South America or Africa. It's only from New Zealand or Australia. So that would be the offset of that magnetic North Pole.
Sure.
So that all seems to make sense to me.
Good observations, man. You're thinking a lot nowadays. Great.
Oh man, I'm listening to like 8 hours of podcasts a day. You have no idea.
Everything in moderation,
Loving it, guys.
man.
I'll leave it. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, well,
right.
This is my motto. Nice to talk to you guys. See you later.
Yeah, right on.
Okay. All right. Have a good one.
Well, you get 2 more calls behind that. So tell me
No.
when you're
Let
ready.
me read this one first. I'll burn this one because I got to do this every once in a while. This one's from Ben. Hey, Mark, been looking into the Antarctic treaty law and astrophysics lately, and I ran into this. Didn't know if you had seen this weirdness, and this is from Wikipedia. In 2006, the New Zealand police reported that jurisdictional issues prevented them issuing warrants for potential American witnesses who were reluctant to testify during the Christchurch coroner's investigation into the death by poisoning of Australian astrophysicist Rodney Marks at the South Pole base in May of 2000. Dr. Marks died while wintering over the United States Amundsen Scott South Pole Station located at the geographic South Pole. Prior to autopsy, the death was attributed to natural causes by the National Science Foundation and the contractor administrating the base. However, an autopsy in New Zealand revealed that Dr. Marks died from methanol poisoning. The New Zealand police launched an investigation in 2006. Frustrated by lack of progress, the Christchurch coroner said that it was unlikely that Dr. Marks ingested the methanol knowingly, although there is no certainty that he died as a direct result of the act of another poison. During media interviews, the police detective in charge of the investigation criticized the National Science Foundation and the contractor, Raytheon, for failing to cooperate with the investigation. Raytheon is a major weapons manufacturer that worked on the lunar missions, and their name means sun god. Best, Ben. Thank you, Ben. Good point. Astrophysicist dying under suspicious circumstances at the South Pole? Yeah, you bet I'm going to read that. All right, who do we got on the phone?
Somebody from Woodland, California.
Woodland, California. Bring him on. Are you on with us, California? Your connection is not very good. You got to speak up. Oh, drop.
They're probably up in Mulholland Drive there.
Holy smokes. I don't know what. Yeah, try to call back. Your connection's horrible. We couldn't make out anything. Who else we got?
Somebody out of Texas.
All right, Texas, you better be better than California.
Hey guys, this is Derek from Austin.
Hey, what's going on?
It's good word.
Yeah, I got a pretty good logo idea I wanted to share with you and any artists that are out there. Basically, it's like a cartoon side view of the disc, the flat disc Earth, and then looking at the continents, you see little billboards and TVs pop up.
Yeah.
And on the billboard is the round globe, and on the TVs that are kind of cartoonish, you see the round globe all over the place. But when you're stepping back and looking from the side, you see the flat disc with the ice ring around it.
Interesting. Cool. That's really great, man.
It's just kind of a goofy, prank at the way the whole world looks at it.
Yeah. Yeah, excellent. Again, it's these little tidbits, which I love. The internet, a hive mind, misses nothing. So thank you for being part of it.
Thanks for the show. I really enjoy it.
All right, cool.
Thank you.
Have a later. See ya.
Bye-bye.
Balaji writes, hey, Mark, as we all know, you use your gaming knowledge to draw a parallel to flat earth design. I am aware some fellow flat earthers have issues with that. I do not know why they make so much fuss about that. In Hindu Vedic literature, the entire creation, not only the earth, is considered as Leela of the divine. That's Leela. Leela is a Sanskrit word which means gameplay. I think you see my point here. Thanks. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, make a gaming reference.
I love all the stuff people call in with. I mean, it's just you can't cover every aspect, and somebody's going to pick up on that hive mind.
Yeah.
Hive internet mind.
There's so much stuff out there. Here's one. You ready? You're going to like this one. This is one from Alyssa, again, another woman. Alyssa writes, hello, Mark. I've been following your content since February. My whole life I've felt that something is very wrong with the world, but man, I never thought it could be something as plain as the flat earth. I see what you did there. You have a great radio voice and top-notch wingman. Really?
Wow.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah. I wanted to let you know about my experience in Antarctica. However insignificant it may be to the flat Earth, I was in the military for 4 years, and in 2012 I had the opportunity to travel there with about 40 other soldiers. The small unit I was in put together modular piers with warping tugs and sledgehammers. The Navy has a more sophisticated version of our equipment that runs on hydraulics and requires less manual labor, but the extreme temperature presented a problem there. The National Science Foundation, located in McMurdo Station, had an ice pier in place that they normally would use to offload their supplies from an icebreaker ship. I guess their ice pier was melting earlier than usual, so they called in our unit. We flew from Los Angeles to Christchurch, New Zealand, and finally landed on the Ross Ice Shelf. We gotta go to break. Hell, let's finish this when we get back.
Freaky Friday with the Woo Crew. Fridays on Truth Frequency Radio.
Welcome back to Strange World, last segment. And that was Joe Jackson, Steppin' Out. One of my favorite 80s tracks. And probably literally, I think, was the first MTV music video I ever watched. So, let me finish up that email from Alyssa before we pick up the next phone call. So she was talking about being stationed in Antarctica. The American base there was fairly small, much smaller than I anticipated. The New Zealand base was even smaller and seemed like it was just around the corner. There were 24-hour days while we were there, and I witnessed what they called the first sunset, the sun barely touching the horizon, then rising again. Another event I think is worth noting. A couple of sergeants were flown to the ceremonial South Pole to re-enlist. I took a bunch of pictures while I was there. I decided to link it in an album. Feel free to use them in your slideshows. Appreciate your work. Thank you. And yeah, the 24-hour Antarctic sun. Still working on that one, how that thing works in this model, because it's kind of tough. It's kind of like the blood moon. It's got to be artificial. Question is, how is it being done? What does the creator have up his or her sleeve? So we have a call from New York, right?
Yes, we do. I think they're on with us now.
Hey, New York.
Yeah. Hey, how you doing, Jonathan?
What's going on?
Not much. You have your espresso today?
No, espresso, not espresso. Come on.
Hey, listen, I just wanted to run this one point by you guys. I mean, I hear people calling in the planet, the plane. That's cool. But Earth, nobody ever mentions Earth. I mean, put an H in front of it, or take its heart, or take the H. It's the heart, the center. Okay, number one. Number two, as far as calling it the North Pole and the South Pole, isn't that like a misnomer in more than one way? Because if you take a magnet on a string and you balance it, the North Pole of the magnet will face what we call the North Pole. So technically, it's the it's the central point. And if you look on Gleason's map, on the top you'll see like a triangle, but the reverse of that gives you the quadrant, and there's a little E on the top. You'll see it if you look close, if you really dissect it. So the east, really, the center line of that point goes through the mouth of the Ganges River, which I guess they can consider the center of the east. And then the west side is that triangle flipped over, which would be, and the center of that goes through the Mississippi, which is the largest basin, only second to the Amazon. So it's kind of, and the south goes through the Greenwich line through England.
Huh.
You ever look at it that close?
No, that's really interesting, though.
All right, I got to
Yeah, and if you look, so there are four quadrants to the flat Earth. If you keep saying North Pole, technically it's the magnetic South Pole, scientifically. But yeah, if you look at the Gleason's map, some people, sweep that to the side, but I think it's pretty important. It's 1892. All the coastline is marked and named. And if you look to the left, which would be the north quadrant, it looks like the ice is melted more on that side. So is there another heat source, closer on that point? You know what I mean? The way the ice is shaped?
Yeah.
And it's called adelic, which is, you look it up, and it means like psychedelic. So with people seeing weird stuff over there, like another sun, who knows?
Yeah.
But I mean, as far as calling it the north, the south, the west, if you look at Gleason's map, the top part, and I think the UN flag, they rotated it 45 degrees, 90 degrees. So now the north is on top.
All right, wait. Can I ask this guy a question? Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Are you with the Masons, or are you with the CWA or IBEW?
I'm just, a spirit soul wandering through this existence. That's all I am.
You sound like friends of mine when I used to work at Verizon, man. They're the smartest guys would be the techies. I mean, the guys that built the systems. You know what I mean? And it's like the way you're talking, man. You're talking about angles and this and that and magnetics, and I'm like, that's what it reminds me of. Huh. The people that put the stuff together, because they can't. They're not like these kids today. They hire them in. They don't know how the stuff works. They just push a button. They see a picture and go. But this guy, he's thinking this through.
You got an excellent point. Gleason's is a great map to look at because it's you can find some really high res versions of it out there.
Yeah, and it names the code. I mean, that's 1892. And another point about Gleason's map, where it was released, where it got patented, wasn't far from that guy, Captain William Morgan, where he had lived and was kidnapped. The guy who wrote the book Edidorfa, which is Aphrodite spelled backwards. And that's supposedly about Captain Morgan's disappearance because he was giving away secrets to the Masons, since you brought it up, it made me think of that. And it's called Journey to the End of the Edidorfa, Journey to the Edge of the Earth, or something like that.
Wow.
To look that up.
Cool. Thanks, man. Thanks very much.
Yeah, listen, you guys are doing the good work. Don't drink too much espresso, okay, Jonathan?
I won't.
All right, see ya.
All right, take it easy. Thanks for that.
I'd like to also point out that he actually never even said my name. He addressed you.
No, I think he said, "Hey, Jonathan," then he said, "Hey, Mark."
Yeah, I don't think he even said that. It's like, yeah, Jonathan, East Coast, represent.
Did I go off one day about how I hate the word espresso?
Yes, you did.
Man.
Quite a few shows ago. In fact, you made very specific note of it.
Did I?
Yeah, you were on its rant. I don't know why you ran into somebody, and so people have kind of remembered that one.
Certain words set me off, man. I don't know what it is. Like it's a pet peeve. Like what's the other one? Oh, buckle. I hate buckle.
Yeah,
it's just a weird word.
Oh, good point. Gus writes, "Dear Mark, please allow me to suggest you something. I found many satellite manufacturers online. What if a few professionals in the field were able to show you and other researchers the reality of their jobs, how they operate, and what exactly they do in those companies? That is the only thing I'm still on the fence about. Satellites must be based on a globe. There must be a lot of scientists investing hours every day in them, and it could be another piece of evidence. Either they work on projects for the future, or they will prove to us that they are real and that it's based on a globe. Thank you for reading my email. Please send a word or you read this." That was a terrible last sentence, Gus. But thank you, Gus. So, yeah, that's part of the thing. And that is, yes, unfortunately, because NASA is an utter fabrication since its inception in 1958, every other company that's tied to it in some way, including the entire satellite industry, is wasted material. Now, do people build satellites? Absolutely. Did they build the rockets for the Apollo missions? Yes, they built the rockets. Did those rockets go anywhere? No, they did not. Does any rocket that carries a satellite go anywhere? No, it does not. It goes up somewhere. NASA and the ATS Bureau take over the telemetry. They reroute all the signals through the enhanced Loran system, and then they sink the rocket somewhere, and nobody ever sees it again. That's just how it is. You got to remember, who told you there were satellites in the first place? Everything keeps funneling back through the same group, and that is NASA. And people say, oh, there's all these other space agencies. It's like, no, there wasn't. In the beginning, there was NASA. And from NASA birthed all these other agencies. Everybody got their blueprints from NASA. And everything that has to be done goes through them. Believe it. So don't worry, Gus. You're on the right road. Who else we got? Carl writes, Mark, firstly, I'd like to commend you on bringing flat earth truth to the forefront. I'll be right to the point, as I'm sure there are thousands of emails to sort through. Well, not thousands, but hundreds, definitely. When watching one of your many videos, it hit me. Remember how we supposedly can shoot a laser at the moon and get a repeat signal back? Okay, take this concept a bit further. Send up a weather balloon, high altitude, launch, say, from New York, and fire a laser, say, from the other side of the globe. Can you locate it that way? We know this would be possible and show there's no curvature. Just a thought. P.S. Keep up the great work. Regards, Carl. Yeah, not a bad idea.
Yeah.
I think, setting up something and trying to hit it, but where are you going to get the laser to do it? You're going to have to pick up a military laser. Someone should call Sean on that one. Let's see here. David writes, hey, Mark, heard a lot of your discussions have been blown away by what you have said. Not only what you said, but backed up with evidence. Now, why I contacted you is because I want to know why is it that you are not having more debates via YouTube and other venues to bring some of these guys like Stefan Molyneux? I watched this guy the other day. He just irritated me with his mannerisms and just his overall responses. He pretends to be somewhat open-minded and yet smells definitive and finite in his answers. I know it's because, or at least it seems, that he doesn't have a flat earth debate with someone who's got his facts in order. And yeah, I've gotten probably 10 or 12 people that have said, you should really debate Stefan. I don't think he'd want to debate me, to be honest. But you can ask on my behalf. But, feel free. Because when he did that debate with that guy, I didn't even know who that guy was. I think Patricia knew who that guy was. But how are these other people get in there without me? It's like, all right, fine. That's totally cool. I'll live. Aaron writes, hey, Mark, hope you're well. Just a few quick comments for you. I was out on our deck having a smoke, just pondering the sun as a few geese flew overhead. Well, he paints a picture, doesn't he? A common occurrence around here year-long in Plymouth, Michigan. Then it hit me. On a flat disk model, south being the outermost edge, where are migrating birds going and why? This question prompted me to look at the Book of Enoch, Courses of Luminaries, as I had been listening to Rob Skiba prior to heading out for my cigarette. I need a few more reads on that text before I can speculate. So I was wondering if you would come across my explanation of avian migration on a flat and stationary model yet. Lastly, Fallout 4 is basically Fallout 3.5 with crafting and community building system added on it. No 3-dog, though, so there is that. And he's talking about Fallout, the game, Fallout. But to his point, yeah, in fact, you want to watch thank you, by the way, Aaron. If you want to watch a neat little documentary, I believe Cesar put it out, and that is Flat Earth, the migration of the albatross. He just put it out like a week or two ago. It's really, really great and how it goes into how they were tracking the migration patterns on the albatross. And it seems that the albatrosses are flying longer distances in their yearly migration than there is continent to fly over. So there's a discrepancy there. So absolutely. So do we have another caller on the line?
Yes, and this time it's from New Jersey.
Really?
Hi, Ian.
It's probably Jared, right?
Jared from Philly, actually. But yeah, just heard you say that one guy talked about how satellites would have to work on a globe, and I don't know, because the sun and the moon and the planets and everything, they're going around somehow. There has to be some kind of mechanism like spinning them around above us. So I don't really think that satellites are real, but if they are, they could just get up high enough to get connected in with whatever they're going around in, ether or whatever it is.
Yeah, it's possible, but look, if I was going to do it, I would take out the satellites completely, because you got to remember, every satellite mission has to go through and I've said it wrong for weeks now. It's not the AST, it's the ATS. And the reason why I for whatever reason, I put that out of my head is ATS is also the name of a burglar alarm company, the National Security System Company. So, but every satellite has to go through these guys. You have to send your flight plan months and months ahead of time. And the only reason you would do that is, so you basically register with these guys. You tell them exactly what you're going to do. You send your rocket up. They follow it the entire way. And since they're already hand-holding you anyway, they're just going to take over the telemetry and then reroute it. So no, I don't think there's anything up there. If there is anything up there, it's probably just reflector balloons at most. high altitude balloons that they can keep up for some extended period of time to bounce signals. But I still think they're using the old Loran system. I don't think the GPS system was ever fully implemented, really in any capacity. Because they say now it's like, well, the GPS system is 24 satellites that are, flying all over the place, but yet it still has these huge chunks of dead ocean that are outside of the equator. I'd like to say below the equator, but we can't say below anymore. So yeah, you got a point there.
I don't think they're up there either, but I'm just saying that there has to be some kind of mechanism for the sun. I mean, there has to be, unless it's powered, unless you're all powered and in line with each other,
Yeah, agreed.
Which could be, the Bible says there are angels in the sun and the moon, like guiding them, and that they don't go out of their chosen paths and all that kind of stuff. But
yeah,
well, thanks a lot.
Hey, yeah, thank you for calling in.
Take care, John.
Hey, take care.
Mark.
The kid writes, if the sun is so close, how hot is it really? Hot enough to scorch the back of the moon during a solar eclipse? Remember the prison planet on Pitch Black 2 that goes molten? Maybe it's the dark side of the moon because it's charcoal. Short and sweet. Thank you, kid. See, again, this sort of topic gets you thinking, and it's really great. Some of the stuff that people send in. Let's see. Do I want to read this one? This one isn't that bad. I gotta go for some short ones here. Give me a second. Do we have any callers?
No callers. I wanted to say something to remember what the guy was saying earlier about Stanton.
Sure.
And you didn't want to get out on information. I believe that Stanton Freeman is watching films of you like Cinderella Man did Max Baer before going into that fight.
Really?
Yeah. It's that bad.
Okay. And we're back. I am so sorry, guys. So when Jonathan was running the thing, and I think they spiked him again because he went down like a sack of rice. Hopefully he can come on in the last 10 minutes. While we are waiting for him to come back on, let's read some more emails. This one's from James, and he goes, Mark, my son Glenn, and he's, by the way, he's from, the title of the email is called Whidbey Island Dentist, where I'm from. And now I got to buzz Jonathan because now he's back. So hang on 1 second. Give me a second, guys, while I find Jonathan. All right, let's add him in. All right, is Jonathan there with us? And it's busy.
Hey, man.
So how are we both on KTFR hosts at the same time?
Huh? Are we still in the air?
We are now. I thought I already had him. I thought I was talking.
Wow. So wait, did you get knocked off too, or just me?
No. I got knocked off too.
All right. This isn't even funny anymore. What was the last thing you heard me say?
I don't know because I was reading an email.
And I was mentioning Stanton Freeman.
Really? It was that long ago?
Yeah, I said you're going to murder him, and then everything just went kaput.
Lovely.
All right.
Okay, so let me read this real quick. This is from a guy that says Whidbey Island Dentist. This is to show you how big the flat Earth has grown, and the fact that Whidbey Island, where I am right now, there's a flat Earther right up the road. Mark, my son Glenn, born in a hospital in Coopville, introduced me to the flat Earth worldview 3 weeks ago. In my quest for knowledge about it, I came across your videos. Great work on your part. Not too many mavericks from Whidbey Island. From my view, I believe you're on the right path. Personally, I've been aware of many of the lies since we've been living with after reading Pawns in the Game 45 years ago. Professionally, I'm aware of many false paradigms that we dentists have been taught. Interesting. And with God's help, we'll soon publish my newest book to expose some truths to dentists and the general public. God-fearing dentist, right? Keep up the good work, and may the creator of the universe bless and protect you. Warm regards, Dr. Jim Carlson. All right. Well, there you go. Jim Carlson.
That's why I thought that I was trying to get at what that guy's occupation was from New York.
Oh, because he knew stuff.
Yeah, I always think somebody's background, even if the more diverse, the better. And it's like, wow, how are you coming to this conclusion? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Rather than just your typical, I'm an engineer, so I know kind of person. It's like, more importantly, my dad worked for Raytheon, kind of. You know what I mean? You can pull that information out of them. It's like, oh, you really know what's going on.
Excellent point. Let's see. We still got 6 minutes left. Let me rattle off this one real fast. Hey, Mark, I suggest a challenge between the ballers and the flatters. Draw them into the debate with the lure of money. Yep, cold hard cash. Should get anyone's interest, right? I mean, it should be easy money for them, right? I know Matt has suggested a Vegas betting idea with his trip across Antarctica, but couldn't there be a much easier test that both sides can agree to? I personally think that if we reproduce the same rocket launch from the Nevada desert at the same exact time that the moon is completely obscured by the Earth, should settle the matter. Heck, you could even let the heliocentrists pick the exact time when the moon should not be visible. If the moon is visible, game over. Pay up, sucker, and compliments of the Flat Earth Society. Please accept this bottle of gin to go home with. I don't know why he said gin. Really? It's time to put up or shut up. All of the odds should be way in the favor of the Earth as a sphere bet, right? So there should be odds makers like 1,000,000 to 1 against the flat Earth. There has to be a monetary value to all that pride and ego. I personally would love to get compensated for the pain and suffering caused by being called crazy. I got this idea recently after debating for hours with a friend of the family who works for Scripps now and is heavily emotionally invested in the science world. I was trying to think of a way to settle it once and for all and kept hearing I just could not trust anything on the internet, blah, blah, blah. Keep up the good work, Steve.
No, wait, wouldn't it make sense if we wound up doing the Flat Earth Conference, our first one out in Vegas, that we do what he says, launch it out of there?
Yeah.
Have all the people there watching it, broadcasting it. You can have all the bookies make, take odds on it.
Yeah. Yeah, good point. Excellent point. By the way, did you get spiked again? I mean, was it just did you get hit as hard?
I got knocked out. Yeah, my internet and everything. It wasn't just Skype.
That's weird. That's not weird. Are you kidding? The show is called Strange World, and considering the topic, this isn't strange at all. But that's all right. It's just going to make it a little tougher to edit because now I've got to go back and find those 2 gaps.
Oh, jeez.
That's all right. No worries. I'll stay up. Michael Klingsees writes, Mark, don't you know if you've seen this, but Nature.com released a news story, and the news story basically is, I don't know if I'll send it to you, but maybe I will send it to you here. Remember how in one of my clues I talked about how we've only drilled down 8 miles, 12 kilometers?
Mm-hmm.
Well, sure enough, December 1st, there's a new quest to drill into the Earth's mantle.
I forgot to tell you about that.
Indian Ocean Expedition resumes a 6-decade campaign to bore right through into the planet's crust.
Do you remember what happened in the Gulf of Mexico and what they had to use to stop it, core exit, thereby destroying all the coral and all the sea life underneath?
No.
Yeah, they screwed up with a drill bit, and I'll send you the thing. Yeah, they destroyed the Gulf of Mexico for the same reason.
Yeah, so good luck, guys, and thank you, Michael, for sending that link. But yeah, they're going nowhere. The deepest anyone has drilled is 8 miles or 12 kilometers. 8 miles, and they go down there. Even if they're doing it underwater, they're going to punch through the water. The drill bits are going to turn into clay, and you're not going to go anywhere because you can't. Because and the mantle alone, if you believe it, is supposedly like 100 miles thick, and we've gone down 8 miles. And that's just to get through the mantle, not to mention the thousands of other miles you have to go through of liquid, this and a bunch of crap. But the fact that they released that story is pretty good. So we got 2 minutes to the. So we're not going to take any more calls. The 2 minutes to the end of the show, and real quick, I'd like to remind people because we still ways off. I can just keep reminding them the Stanton Friedman debate with me on the Art Bell Show, December 30th. And that was put together by David Rubini. Any other shows that anyone wants me on, remember, I don't solicit them. They, but you can solicit on my behalf. You can say, hey, I'd like to have, you should have Mark Sargent on. Love to do anything. I will not turn down a show, unless it's just a bunch of guys getting drunk and calling me names. That would be, that's not nice. Don't be mean. Don't do it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the Stanton Friedman show. That'll be fun. What do you got coming up this week? on your show? Anything? Oh, you got a special guest this Thursday.
I do. I don't even know if I should announce it, but I guarantee you it has nothing to do with the flat Earth.
That's okay.
It's about perceptions, right? And so we're gonna hear from somebody's perception on life, and it's gonna be unique.
Cool.
Just leave it at that. Leave it a mystery. But you know what? There's only 1, 2, 3. After this show, there's only 3 more weeks of Strange World in 2015 that I'll be doing.
Right.
Yeah, I just want to remind everybody of that. I'm such a jerk.
The riddle that is Jonathan. Yes, there are only 3 more shows. Yeah, should be an interesting end of the year. You know, we still got most of December left, and it's getting pretty weird out there.
Yeah. And what do we have coming on? Because I suggested one show format for the end of the year.
We haven't made up our mind yet.
Okay.
So, but yeah. So next week we'll pick this back up and go from there. So thanks everybody for calling in and emailing, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, buddy.
Zero is a wonderful thing. In fact, Zero is my hero.
How can Zero be a hero?
Well, there are all kinds of heroes, you know. A man can get to be a hero for a famous battle he fought, or by studying very hard and becoming a weightless astronaut. And then there are heroes of other sorts, like the heroes we know from watching sports. But a hero doesn't have to be a grown-up person, you know. A hero can be a very big dog who comes to your rescue, or a very little boy who's smart enough to know what to do. But let me tell you about my favorite hero. Now you're here to stay.